I've been up and I've been down and I done seen it all. Was in the gym working my shot, now they pass me the ball. They never answer when I call, now I'm the one they call. I done been up and I've been down and I done seen it all. Crazy when you really gotta get it out the mud.
Hey, welcome back to Rocket Top Sports Talk. This is your boy Coach Rice. On tonight's episode, we're gonna have a pre-lit episode talking about this Tennessee-Oklahoma game. Dark mode engaged. I'm so lit and ready for this game tomorrow night. I'm probably not gonna be able to sleep much tonight at all because I'm just gonna be anxious and thinking about this game all getting ready for preparing for it tomorrow, and then just the nerves. All of us as Tennessee fans, we're so hype about our Tennessee football team. No matter if they're struggling or or if they're playing great, it don't matter. Night games at Neyland are different. They're just hit different. I'm going to be following no matter what time of day it is, but that night game in Neyland against a top tier opponent that matters. I've seen several people coin the phrase this week. It's a play out game. If you lose, you're out. It's an elimination game. You lose, you're out. So ready for this episode. What's up, Joey? See you in the chat. Unfortunately, Joey's got something to do tonight. He's got something going on, so he's not going to be in. So hopefully here next week or the next, Joey will be back with us. Tom's going to be with us in the chat. I mean, on the video here in a little bit. He's getting off of work, but he'll be back here on here in a little bit. So, hey, hoping for a fire episode. Hope we'll get some guys come on as we go. Probably about right at an hour long. Got the sun tonight, so we're gonna go do some trick or treat and go go out and eat after this gets over. So looking forward to that. So but hey, let's get to it. This Tennessee Oklahoma game, man. You think about what it means, where we're at in the season. You go win this game, the rest of the season you're playing yourself into the playoff. You got a bye, a much needed bye. I think we get Jamal McCoy after the bye or after the New Mexico State game. So that's a big plus. Just got to get through this game. Then we got New Mexico State. Then we got Florida. Then we got Vanderbilt. So I think the sky's the limit after this game. You get past this game. You got three very winnable games with Vanderbilt being at home. Florida with the interim head coach. We'll see how they are tomorrow against Georgia. And then obviously New Mexico State being a gimme game. So a lot rides tomorrow on how this season's kind of lay out. If we make the playoffs, if we don't make the playoffs, if we just make, just the pretty good bowl game, but not in the playoffs. I know this team expects to be in the playoffs. I know Coach Heupel. I know this fan base expects to be in the playoffs year in and year out with the expectations that, once you have those years of going 11-2 and, doing great things and then having the recruiting that you've had and then making the playoff last year, once you've done that, you're expecting that from them forward. So I wouldn't expect the team to, think any differently. Their goal is national championship, SEC championship, national championship, and that's it. Obviously they got their personal goals, but this is a team. We've had some questions about certain things about this team, but one thing I've never questioned is the commitment as a team, togetherness, fighting for one goal, and that's something I've never questioned with this team. I think they're really all in it together and wanting to get better week in, week out. It's just doing the little things right. Do we see this team do the little things right this week? Discipline wise, fundamental wise, not getting out of assignment, not getting out of, creating a bad angle for a tackle, and just purely tackling better when it comes to defense. So getting all that taken care of, we need to make sure we're all assignment based, fundamental based, make sure we're doing what our coaches hopefully taught them to do to put them in the right spot for success when it comes to this Oklahoma team, because yes, they've been struggling on offense. They've had a pretty good defense, but they got playmakers. So and John Mateer is a good, he was first month of the season was, everyone's Heisman front runner. So and how Tim Banks and this defense gets sometimes. It's like you got a struggling call. Well, let's just go making Joe Montana. It's like Kentucky last week. So very frustrating at times, but hopefully, the film can help, and then just coaches getting after them. I know Coach G and Coach Inge this week said in their press conference, that's not the standard. Our defense, this is not the standard we're doing. The way we're tackling is inexcusable. So I see Tom in the backstage here. As soon as he gets back to his computer, we will get him back on. So, but yeah, offense, I'm not worried about this offense. I think they're going to try to give Joey Aguilar some exotic looks, some different looks. Hopefully we can, do some things to, help give Joey some confidence early in the game, and then, just keep this boat rolling when it comes to offense. Because I believe there's several national media analysts that believe that Tennessee's going to be able to score. Oklahoma really hadn't played a very high powerful offense up until Ole Miss this year, and you see what Ole Miss did. So I think there's a lot that goes into this game that, plus with it being at home, that the matchup just favors Tennessee, and we'll get into all that deep in detail as we go throughout the show. Let me get Tom on here. What's up, brother? How's it going, man?
What's happening?
Right. Oh, man. Not much.
I just scooted out of work, quick as a bug, and now we're gonna talk some football.
You dang right. So
yeah, man.
Man, what's your thought? I know you're pumped. I know you've been all over the place when it comes to these hot board conspiracies and all of that. We can talk about that kind of like later in the show, or but what's your thoughts? Just early first thoughts for this Oklahoma game.
This is yet another perfect opportunity for Tennessee to change their stars. This is just another platter of perfect eating right in front of us. That's like, look, Oklahoma might be a little bit doubted. Yeah, they lost to Texas. It wasn't the game they wanted. And what you were just talking about a second ago, when I was back there and I was clocking out of my computer and all that good stuff, I heard you talking about John Mateer. The kid is hit and miss, just like any college quarterback can be. He looks tremendous in some instances against decent competition too. I mean, Michigan's defense isn't what it was 2 years ago. We know that. Yeah. They're not winning any titles, but still, I mean, he made them look like they were walking in mud. So makes me a little bit worried with the defensive capability or incapability that we've shown. But I mean, honestly, I think this is the defense's game to win. It's the defense's game to win. We got to run the ball, and we got to do it right up the middle. We got to get it off the edge too, but we got to be able to run the football. I think this is just a perfect opportunity, man. They might not be undefeated or, top 10 in the country, Oklahoma. They're not at their peak, but I know Josh Heupel probably doesn't care about that. He probably wants to beat them just as bad as he wants to beat any team. But we got to do it. It's home. It's a night game. I think it's the last night game we're going to have in Neyland for a while, maybe until next year. So, so that has got to be a prime opportunity for us to take and not just win. We can't just barely win. That would be our best win of the season, but we can't just barely win. We got to win convincingly in a manner that people say, okay, well, you know what? Oklahoma didn't look like crap. Tennessee just looked wild good. That's what I want out of this game. Yeah. And
I agree with you.
I kind of expect it, to be honest. It's the night game. They got the dark unis. I love the dark mode. Love it. Love the alternates. It's going to be Neyland at night with the spotlight running through the tee, man. It's just going to be, it's going to be epic, man. Yeah. It's going to be
I'm definitely hyped about
Yeah.
it. I said there at the very beginning, I'm already jittery and anxious, and
Yeah.
probably not going to be able to sleep much tonight. Looking
Mhm.
forward to tomorrow night, and
Mhm.
you know, just the atmosphere. You know, it's going to be electric. You know, it's going to be very intense beginning of the game. You know, talked about. I saw a video today, Tennessee talking about seismic Neyland, where you talking about the seismometer, where they're measuring earthquakes and how loud Neyland Stadium is, and that just gives me chills because I wish I could be there, and you know, being and you know, there's so many things that as a Tennessee fan that these type games just give you goosebumps about. Like, you just want to be part of that atmosphere, and even being just at the house with some friends and you know that really love the game and are intense with the game and get into it. And it's just something different when you have games like this and that
It
type
is.
of atmosphere. And obviously we want Tennessee to go out and play great, and I think they have every opportunity to, especially on offense. The defense, you got questions. You got some good news this week with Colton Hood being able to, not being on the injury report and being able to, it looks like he's going to go. And so that's massive news. Still, from what I'm hearing, Arian Carter is pushing his tail to try to be able to play. So I love that. Joey, look at what Joey posted. He said, I don't know how I feel about Tom being halfway positive for this game.
Hey, you know what? You're right, though. There's something different about the nights at Neyland. I know night games at a lot of places get hyped up. Like, I live in Virginia, and some people in this house went to some schools in Virginia that think they have a night atmosphere. But I'm telling you, when you go to a night football game in Neyland Stadium, brother,
it's different.
Like the greatest, and I've been to probably, God, I don't even know. It's well over 40 games in Neyland I've been to, but my favorite game that I will never forget was the Will Hoyt field goal against Florida.
Yeah.
That was just the best night atmosphere I've ever seen at Neyland. It was just crazy. Now, I haven't been to a night game in, oh my gosh, years. So I'm sure,
that Ole Miss game in 21 was pretty.
I'm sure
it was pretty electric. Well,
I'm sure.
I claim that I was the one that threw the golf ball, but it is just so amazing and so fun to just be in that atmosphere. But you got to give props to Tennessee and their the social media team and their team that does all this computer engineer, all that, trying to hype the dark mode up and all that. I saw several people hating, like, man, I wish our social media team and all that was as good as Tennessee's. They're just top tier. They get you. I know I saw Ohio State, Florida, a couple other fan bases just getting really hating on Tennessee because they were really their social media team and all that does a really good job promoting this blackout dark mode jersey. And I remember last week I listened to the KSR guys at Kentucky just to laugh sometimes, and I was listening to them. They were like, they never even promoted the blackout jerseys against Tennessee this last week. And so I find that hilarious. But Joey says I was spot on last week with my prediction for Brazil. And Joey, let's go 2 weeks in a row. Tennessee by 3 scores. Hype dials it up. Joey for 350, and Mike Matthews has 2 scores. I like that. I'm all for that. I'm all for that, boss man.
No doubt.
But yeah, there's something that that's giving me some confidence. That this defense is actually going to have a turnaround game. I just, there's something in my gut feeling. I can't point out anything other than the main thing being Oklahoma's offensive line being pretty bad. that would be my main target to why I think Tennessee could have, some type of resemblance of a bounce back game on defense.
Yeah.
And that's going to be one of my keys later on that we're going to talk about. But
Mm-hmm.
I just got this gut feeling, first part of the video thoughts, just this gut feeling that I got some confidence that this defense is going to show up. And I've already talked about this offense. I think they're going to, Ole Miss gave them a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma really hadn't played anybody this year with a high-powered offense.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss went and exposed them, and I think Tennessee's just going to double down on it. So,
I hope
build off of that, Tom. What else you got?
I hope you're right about the defense because they're going to need to have their best game. I mean, if we needed them to have their best game, it was against Alabama. But after that, now looking forward, I try not to look back, but looking forward, this has got to be their best defensive game. I was looking at Oklahoma's stats. I think it was yesterday. They've thrown it to their starting tight end like 30 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot of catching for a tight end. Like, I like that. I love that. But we got to shut that down because the dude's got 400 yards receiving. I don't know if he's got any touchdowns. I can't remember that, but I'm not a stat machine. But, I mean, they get it to their tight end a lot. And I know they don't necessarily run the ball a whole heck of a lot. If I remember, they might have 1,000 yards on the ground all year.
They're struggling. They struggle to run the ball outside with Mateer, and that's been hit or miss lately. So
hey, Big Mike, what's up, man?
What's up?
What do you think about Oklahoma?
Oh man, I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic right now. I think our offense is going to put up some points tomorrow. The defense is kind of what I'm worried about.
Yeah. I'm right there with you a little bit. I think, like I said, we're gonna get into the keys later, but a little bit later. I think Tennessee does have an advantage in some parts to where I think Oklahoma will be exposed on the offensive side of the ball some. But like I said, we'll get into that. What else you got thinking about this Tennessee Oklahoma game, B. Mike?
I think if we can get some pressure on Mateer, I know since he hasn't come back, he hasn't played just all that well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's due to the injury or just trying to get back into the flow of the game. But I really feel like our defensive line can have some success and get in the backfield. And I think if we can get in the backfield and put him on the ground a few times, kind of rattle him a little bit, get him into making some mistakes and cause turnovers like we do, I think it could be a good day for our defense, like you said, if we can do those things.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and I'm sure Tom will talk about it a little bit later. But the main thing that we got to circle back to, it's just the fundamentals on defense.
Absolutely.
You got to be able to tackle in space. You got to be able to get the man down when the opportunity is there, and you can't have these silly roughing the passer or hands to the face or some of these stupid penalties that you cannot have in these critical big games. Because I mean, I understand sometimes the effort play that's different, but you can't. You can't have your hands up underneath that dude's face mask, or you can't hit the quarterback after the ball is out of his hands, or you can't lay up, drive him into the ground anymore. And it's just those type penalties you cannot because a lot of times to me it seems like those happen on third down when actually our defense gets a stop, but then they make that boneheaded penalty and it extends the drive for the offense. So I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Big Mike.
We have to get off the field on third down.
Yeah,
especially third and long. We have to get off the field.
Yeah. That third and critical is what I'm calling it this week, because you have to. It's that dire that you can't let, because what they're going to want to do is keep our offense off the field, and so that they're going to take any type of measure to be able to do. If that means pulling out all the stops to get fourth downs or third and longs and doing those things. I'm right there with you, and I mean that's critical for any game. But getting off the field on third down is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick.
Yeah.
I missed the Kentucky show the other night. Sorry about that.
No, yeah.
And my MVP pick, Deshaun Bishop, of course, didn't have a great game. I was going to ask you what you guys thought if the run game the non-existent was kind of by design because Joey was playing so well, or I mean, what do you guys think?
I think it has a lot to do with the way Kentucky was playing us and the way that Joey he had the hot hand. You don't have a 99.1 at PFF, rating on deep balls and not just let the dude keep, chucking the ball all over the yard. I mean, they could have been up 42-0. I would have told them keep chunking it because I mean until you mess up, I mean, I mean you keep running the score up on them. So, but I think that had a lot to do with it. Now, Kentucky, what they were doing, they were playing 7 in the box, but they were playing cover 4 high. So what they were doing is it's a lot like I went to the Covington Westview. I know you went to the Milan game last night, Michael, but I went to the Covington Westview game last night, and Covington was playing cover. They were playing. They were kind of just letting us see what they would do running wise, but they were playing. They weren't for to let Graham Simpson and those wide receivers take it over the top on them. So they were playing 12 yards off, and not let. And that's exactly what Kentucky was doing. They were playing man to man at times, but then they were playing cover 4 high, and but they had 7 in the box and not letting Tennessee establish a run game, and they were just protected. Even though we hit them with the deep ball, that's what they were doing to try to negate the run. They were really focused on the run. They were willing to play one-on-one on the outsides because what cover 4 is, it pretty much turns into a man-to-man on the outside. So, like, there's certain things there that Kentucky was doing, and I'll let Tom add to it, but there were certain things Kentucky was doing definitely to negate the run game. But I think majority of it was, you just got to roll with the hot hand on how we're moving the ball up and down the field. And you got to think about it. Most of our offense was explosive plays. I'll let you build off of that.
Well, he called 30 run play. It was like 30 to 35 runs. So, I mean, I'd run it 60 times a game, but still, I'm just saying, if you get to throw it 5 times as a quarterback in my offense, you're lucky, but and we had whatever, it's like 30 to 35 runs with what we had like 110 total rushing yards. So, I mean, that's not good, but you're right. They had 7 in the box most of the game. And also when we got close to the goal line, a couple of were within we scored from outside the 25 so many daggone times. I couldn't even count how many times, but they had 8 in the box at one defensive stand that I was looking at. That was within the 20-yard line because they knew we were going to try to run it. But, there were a couple of actually good runs that I do remember. Star Thomas had a really good run right up the middle. That was great. Yeah. Your offensive line was open in a couple of holes, but their linebackers, I got to tip my hat to Kentucky's linebackers for stopping the run because they did actually show up pretty thoroughly. Oklahoma is going to be a whole different ball game. With the defense that they got. Their defense this year is really similar to our defense last year, except for on the corners. Their interior defensive line, it's like you take Big O and you put him on this team that OU's got this year, and they've got interior depth, and they're going to rotate them out. They're going to keep them fresh, just like we did last year. And Brent Venables, this was ridiculous last year. I was screaming at the television watching the game in Norman last year when we went in. The first series that we had against their defense last year on the road, They had 4 or 5 in the box.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was 3. They were playing a 3-2-6.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And I'm sitting there looking at this like, why don't you know ahead of time? We were talking last week about being defensive players that you have to know that you have to cut a blitz because your guy on the outside's outnumbered. You just got to know that. When you get up to the line in the SEC or in any football game, I had middle school kids that I used to coach that knew if they saw a weak box, they're calling black 10 and it's either going to be quarterback power or it's going to be, 20 dive, They knew that because that's what I always told them. I said, look, if you get to the line and you outnumber them by at least 1 or 2, you're audible into a run play or at least this style of run play. And it's going to be that, and the people in the stands might not want to watch it, but you're going to get 6 yards of carry, and you're going to win the football game. You got to get to the line and know if Brent Venables shows you that, yeah, he wants you to see that, but still, you got to be able to man up and run the football there. You got to do it. And you're right, what you were saying earlier, you got a guy in Joey that is just – he's an all-star. He's absolute all-star. If he's not first-team All-American, I'm going to spit. But seriously, you got him throwing it over the top because Kentucky was loading the box up. They're daring us to throw the ball. And, yeah, you know what? He burned them. Absolutely burned them. 5 for 5 on, 35-plus yard throws or whatever it was, the over 30-yard throws. I'm cool for that. If you can burn a team, you can burn a team. But as far as being nitpicking – ahead of time, knowing the things that traditionally you need to do to win a game like this against an Oklahoma team that's coming in to ruin your night and steal your girl and kick your dog on the way out, you got to run the football. They show you a 5 or 6 box, you got to run the football. I'm thinking power, outside zone, maybe run a little gap scheme. I'd gap them all the way down the field on every play until they put 7 in the box. I truly would. But And plus, if you gap them, the way that we can gap, like I know we pull the center, we pull tackles, guards, we pull everybody. We pull wings, we pull tight ends in the actual tight end formation. You gap a team down the field that's going to bring secondary pressure, or they're going to bring linebackers that look like they're not going to pressure because they look like they're running a 4 box or a 6 box. You gap them, you're going to catch them all down inside, or your pull is going to destroy that delayed blitz look. It's going to kill it. And we've got the guys to do it on the O-line. I'm so looking forward to this game. I think we match up against their defense really well.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about, with the having to have – I think we were texting about it last night at some point, and one of y'all brought something up. I said, if we get 2 – key defensive stops.
Said that.
We get 2 key defensive stops, one in the first half and one in the second half, and absolutely make those the moments that, that was the high tide moment. It was like, okay, that was the high water mark for the first half, and we stemmed them. We held them down. And then you go out and score, and then you do that at another key spot in the second half, man, that crowd is going to go ballistic, and they are going to be in the game the whole time, and Oklahoma's just not going to be able to handle it.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Super. I know this is your boy, Tom. Let's bring the Vols cheering for you guys tomorrow from Ohio. Appreciate the chat, brother. I know it's a big game. I know y'all. I don't know who's Ohio State got tomorrow.
They have Penn State.
Oh, so that's right.
After maybe a quarter or so, I told him, I said, if y'all jump on them early, man, Penn State's going to fold like a wet blanket.
Yeah, no doubt.
They just don't have it, man. They don't have it in them.
No, they ain't got it this year. So, but let's get back to some things that I want to see. Obviously, you got Arian Carter. I know me and you, Michael, have talked about it a little bit. Arian Carter being questionable, he's kind of working his tail off to try to get back. What that impact? What's going to be the impact if he doesn't play? Who do you expect to step up? Obviously, you got Edwin Spillman and you got T. Lander and Jaden Perlotti and Jaden Harmon there. Who do you expect to step up if Arian Carter doesn't get to play, or if it's someone else from a different position. They don't really. Oklahoma plays a lot of 11 personnel. Is it someone like Boo Carter with Jalen McMurray having to slide outside? It's someone like Boo Carter or Jalen McMurray, or safety having to step up and fill that gap that maybe Arian Carter leaves if he doesn't play. What do you think about that, Michael?
I really like Perlotti.
Yeah. Oh, I love Perlotti.
I think the time that he's getting, he's showed a little bit. He had a couple of good plays against Kentucky last week. I really think if Carter doesn't play, Perlotti could be the guy to step in and have a big game. I really think it's huge that Colton. It looks like Colton Hood's going to play. I think that's a big plus for us. Big
plus, yeah. I'm right there with you. I think there's several things that you have to take about this defense that you need guys to step up that haven't really been playing up to their level. So, Tom, I'm gonna let you add to that. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all two just bounce off of each other.
Man, when he brought up Colton Hood being in for this game, not being on the injury list, that I know I saw it. I think it was yesterday, but that is freaking huge because absolutely with Gibson and McCoy being out in a game like this with a quarterback that can throw it at seemingly wherever he wants to at certain times. I know he hadn't been that great because of his hand the last couple of weekends. Mm-hmm. They've lost 2 in a row now, but they lost to – look, I know Texas is down. They're not Texas from last year, and even Texas from last year might not have been as great as everybody may have thought or wanted to think they were. But Texas is still Texas. They're a good SEC team. Might not belong in the SEC, but they're a good team, and they did beat them with solid defense. It wasn't just that he was missing throws, but when he's on, Mateer really can hit you on a dime, and he also can run too. I know there's this whole conspiracy about him, or maybe not a conspiracy, but it's a thought process or a talking point out there about him having a bum knee. Well, if you got a bum knee, at this point, man, you had hand surgery. If they're trying to play you or if you want to play, maybe you ought to take a back seat, But he can roll. If he comes out healthy, because you never know. Coach isn't going to come out there and say, oh, yeah, well, he's got a bum knee, but we're going to put him in there anyway. So that's kind of one of those 50-50 things. It's like, well, does he actually have a bum knee and a thing they just put in his hand? They put a metal piece in his hand, didn't they?
I believe so. I believe so.
So if that's the case, you're not going to have a coach come out there. Like Brent Venables got more sense than this. He's not going to come out there and say, well, he's got a tweak in his knee and he's got a metal chip in his finger. So he's not exactly 100%. He's not going to say that. He's just going to come out there, and if his guy is 50, 60%, 70%, he's going to play like that. But then if your all-star comes out there and he's swinging like Big Mike Tyson, then all right, well, there you go. He's 100%, So whatever you're going to get, you're going to get. But we need the defensive performance. We really do. I hope it's going to be this game. I really hope it's going to be this game. And Coach Rice said he thinks it's going to be this game, and I really hope he's right, because if the defense crushes them like a beer can in Neyland with all those recruits there to see it at night, primetime game, we get all the glory, Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot, and I'm going to let Michael build off of it, but there's a lot that this defense obviously can improve. I mean, there's a lot that's gone into their poor play just by not freaking tackling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's if they tackle better, that will hide a lot of the BS that they've been doing on defense. Mm-hmm. Just tackling better, point blank. Mm-hmm. If you do that, you avoid some of those big plays. Mm-hmm. Like there were a couple of the big plays last week outside of Boo Carter getting gassed. It was just poor angles and poor tackling. And that's just a lot of that's effort and being in the right place. And that's a lot of that goes into coaching, and you can coach that. So it's not stuff that is where you're just getting out talented, because obviously Kentucky's not out talenting us. A lot of it is either you're getting schemed up, like Boo got schemed up to where he was out of, didn't do his fundamentals right, didn't stay in phase with his guy, and got burnt.
Yep.
The Kendrick Law touchdown off the screen, the bubble screen. It's just bad angles.
Yeah.
Taking the wrong gap, not killing your blitz. And there's several things there that where you're doing things wrong that you can easily avoid if you just stick to the fundamentals.
Yep.
And so, Tom, we've talked about defense, what we want to see, things we could do offensively. We've kind of talked about wanting to run the ball a little better, but what do you want to see offensively this week?
I want to see us dump it over right across the middle or on the outside routes to the tight ends.
Yes.
We've got such athletic guys that can get to the outside at end, and we've got backs that can get out of the backfield on screens or flares or whatever you want to call them. There's no reason we shouldn't be doing those quick dumps, or just flat out doing. I know everybody got tired of seeing the same 4 routes on the tree the last few years, but it works. I mean, if we stick with what works, like last year, we had a guy that couldn't quite hit some of the throws, and we had a case of the dropsies here and there in some of the games that really hurt us. But we got a guy that can get you the ball. It's just got to be smooth. It's just got to be smooth. But yeah, I mean, as far as Oklahoma's defense being so aggressive, I don't know how much they blitz, but aggressive in a I got tongue twisted, a predisposed aggressiveness. It's not a designated aggressiveness. It's like all right, well, we're going to give you this look, and we're going to either blitz you or we're going to bring pressure just because of the formation that we're running, using technique, using scheme. And it might not be bringing 5 or 6. It might just be rushing 4, but they are still aggressive with how they bring the pressure with 4. Dump it quick. Get it out quick. I think it was you had said after the Kentucky game, get it to Ethan Davis some more. Yeah. Because now that he's back and he's healthy, he looked good. He looked real good. Dude can move. And then, of course, like, where's the beautiful schemed up play that they had specifically for Van Doorslayer with bringing him across the formation a few weeks ago when we were in Neyland? What was that game we were playing? Was it the Arkansas game?
Where he in the flat?
Yeah, man, that was beautiful. Do that some more, get some just willy-nilly stuff, but run it smooth, That's all I want to see. I want to see it smooth. If you go out, like you were just talking about the defense costing themselves on just fundamentals and things that they ought to know, being in position, all that stuff. Yeah, for sure. And by now, they ought to be the most knowledgeable defense in the world, because making mistakes is the way that you learn, right? That's the way you're supposed to learn.
Yeah.
The offense, too, you got to stop costing yourself. You brought up earlier defense putting hands in the face, or defense hitting the quarterback late, or any of that. So actually playing football that you can't do anymore, but you can't do that stuff. So offensively, same thing. You can't do that kind of silly crap. You can't cover people up. You can't have illegal motion, all that stuff. Just be smooth. Yeah. Just be smooth. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. You can add to that, Big Mike. Something you want to see just the offense do, whether it be just efficiency or whatever.
There's a couple of things I'd like to see. I mean, y'all already mentioned it. One, I'd like to see him get the tight ends involved. Ethan Davis, Miles Kisselman. Maybe this is a game where Kisselman kind of comes back, and he's been kind of silent the last few weeks. Maybe this is a game where he can come back and have 5 or 6 catches and make a big impact. Obviously, I'd like to see us run the ball, whether it's Bishop or Star Thomas or Peyton Lewis, or I'd like to see us gap them pretty good and just run the ball down their throat. And I really think if Joey Aguilar from last week shows up tomorrow, I think Oklahoma's in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. If they start dumping it over the top, man, and Oklahoma's watching that Kentucky film. They're watching film from the whole season. They know that the receivers are deadly. I mean, they've had a couple of key drops in key spots, but they're deadly, man. Like, it's nothing like last year with the dropsies. Yeah. It's not like that. If they start hitting them over the top early, I love running the football. I want them to establish the run in the football, but if we throw it over the top early and we can run the football off of that, it's over for OU, man, because they're going to start spreading themselves thin from the center out, trying to get over, don't get beat deep. Don't get beat deep. Don't let them run a 9 on you. Just that's going to help us run the football. And, of course, hey, even if they don't run the football as successfully, because even though they get spread out, their interior defensive line still chomps us down, then we can still do what we were all three just agreeing on. You got to get to the tight ends. And you're right. I really do want to see Kitzelman make a hell of a play. Like, he's had a couple of key grabs, but he hasn't had that consistent game where, he had 4 or 5 catches that were just first downs or tremendous grabs, key moments. If they do stuff like that with him or with Ethan Davis, doesn't have to be Kitzelman. Could be Davis. Just have them do some key moments. That's the kind of stuff in the first half that's going to stick in their minds in the second half too.
Well, that's what was a key moment during that first half when Ethan Davis in that 2-minute drill, caught that first down, and then he obviously caught the touchdown that had a major impact as far as momentum and pretty much killing any chance of Kentucky thinking they could come back and win that game. And that's the reason why I've been such been so adamant about getting Ethan Davis involved, because he's so freakishly athletic. He's a matchup nightmare against safeties and linebackers, and you can do so many things with him. Yes, he may not be the best blocker in the run game, but every player has a weakness. No player is going to be perfect. You got to find ways to get that player involved outside of his weakness. And I love you too, baby girl. But there's so many things that Tennessee's got to do offensively that keeps this Oklahoma defense off balance. Because Brent Venables, he may not end up being the guy at Oklahoma, but overall, he's one of the best DCs and defensive play callers in the nation. And he knows what he's doing. He obviously schemed us up pretty good last year. I mean, obviously we didn't have the quarterback we had this year. We had Nico sorry self, and didn't have the ability to deliver the ball down the field and in the mediocre field area, and progression. Joey's progression. It's back to where we were with Hendo Cinco, where we were actually reading our having a progression and making the read and making the throw, and
that anticipation,
the anticipatory throw. So what Oklahoma does, they try to disguise zone coverages. They play a little bit man, but they play a lot of different zones where they're playing split safety look, where they'll play cover 2 on one side, cover 4, cover 3 on one side, cover 4 on one side, cover 2. They mix up their coverages a lot, where it ends up being more of a cover 6 or cover 9 look, and they'll blitz from different angles. And I know you talked about that earlier, Tom. So what Joey could do, what this offense could do, is going to be very important to win first down, get the ball going forward, and then you can establish tempo. I watched the game last year, and I'll let y'all kind of build off of this too. I watched last year's game today when I had the opportunity, and Tennessee won with 12 personnel a lot. Obviously, defense won the game. Dylan Sampson won the game. Dante Thornton had a big play there.
Yeah.
But we played a lot of 12 personnel. That opened up that throw for Dante Thornton. And Dylan Sampson and company, even though early on we couldn't really run the ball as efficiently, how we, was so successful was that 12 personnel. And I honestly, even though I hate taking Staley off the field or one of those two other receivers, I think you see a lot of 12 personnel this week, but you'll still mix in some of the 11. But if they go off, which Oklahoma may skew to that, say, man, they really hammered us with this last year. Maybe we need to change something up. And then that's where the adjustment games come in. And you go back to 11 personnel. And Heupel, I will give him credit. He's been a mastermind at making adjustments this year. And so I will give him a tip of the cap for that, because last year and the year before that, granted, as probably the quarterback, but there wasn't many adjustments made. So, Michael, anything else that you want to kind of talk about that you want to see out of this game tomorrow? Obviously, other than a win for Big Orange.
I honestly, and I don't see him doing it, but I would really like to see a few more design quarterback runs.
Yes,
tossed in there. But with Joey's neck, I don't know where he's at as far as still from the Alabama game, if he's still got any lingering effects from that, and if they're scared to do that. But I think that would be a nice wrinkle, to kind of throw a few more designed runs in there with him, kind of getting out on the edge or something. And that's one thing I'd like to see for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I think Georgia game goal line power was just.
Oh yeah, I mean that, and then the overtime, or to get into overtime, the run he did at Mississippi State. So I would love to see that. I don't know where they're at as far as his neck. What that looks like. I mean, you couldn't have told me he was injured last week after the game he had. But I mean, you never know what the player's actually going through. It may not limit his throwing. It may be more of takes a bad hit, then it could turn into something worse. But I think, and I kind of agree with Brooks Austin. He talked about this week. I don't want them running Joey Aguilar, because as much as they're being explosive passing the ball right now, you should be able to run the ball with your tailbacks. With how explosive downfield wise, you're going to get back safety coverage and off coverage from your corners. So the box should be there. And Oklahoma gives us the same game plan they gave us last year, with 5 guys in the box, 6 guys in the box at times. You got a head on a head. Go win the run game without even having to run the quarterback. Now I get it, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situations, and you're in critical. You got to do what you got to do. And I think that's the times I've used Joey Aguilar's legs this year, is those opportunities. So I know it's going to seem like a shorter show, guys, but we're fixing to go on, get into our prediction and our MVP, because I got a little 3-year-old. I'm going to take trick or treating and do that. So we're fixing to get into that. I know we've kind of covered everything, so that was good. I was kind of worried about that. So let me see. Sam, are you in the chat? I don't know if Sam's there. He normally comments if he's in the chat, but I was gonna post the that's not what we want. Tom, I'm gonna let you go ahead and hammer out your main key for and since we're going a little early, give me an offensive key and a defensive key, and then your prediction and the MVP.
Offensive key, no turnovers. Defensive key, forced turnovers.
There you go.
That's literally my key for it, because look, I don't think we turned the ball over against Oklahoma last year, did we? You just rewatched the game. I don't think we turned it over in Norman.
I think we did. I think we did have one turnover as a fumble.
That's right.
Uh,
Dylan Sampson had the
Yeah.
fumble. I
Dylan
remember.
had a fumble.
So look, we were able to overcome that in Norman because James Pierce forced that fumble. It was James Pierce forced it at the goal line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so.
And I know he forced another one against Florida with Lagway, knocked it right out of his hand. But yeah, I mean, turnovers. We have won the games that we have won in close fashion this year because throw a dart at the board, even though the defense has let us down in a lot of circumstances, they have stepped up in some pretty key moments. And without that, we're looking at 2 more L's right now on the board. I mean, that Arkansas and Mississippi State game, both without all the turnovers that they were forced turnovers. They weren't just gimmies for the most part. Got to force turnovers, and we cannot give them the ball. And we can't even give them the ball in an easy 3 and out either. We've got to keep their offense off the field.
Yeah.
Got to, because they're going to come out and old school Oklahoma run this thing, and they're going to try to run over our defense because, okay, well, after 2 weeks of Mateer not being perfect, not being great, not being even really that good, they're going to be looking for ways. They're going to be doing screwy things. They're going to be running a reverse here and there. They might run some screen plays. They might do whatever it is to generate some revenue on the offensive side. So, yeah, that's a good one. Get Brazel the ball. I like that. Dude's having the year of his life. But, yeah, we got to force turnovers, and we can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
If we do that in Neyland, I think we win. And it might be close, but I think we win that.
So what's the score and what's the MVP?
So I think this is going into overtime.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those
late calls.
Yep, for sure. So I'm going to have to get extra beer for tomorrow night.
There you go.
Yeah, we're going to go into overtime, and I think we're going to win because they don't get their 2 in a second. Yeah, what is it? Second overtimes? You got to go for 2s? Yeah. It's going to be because they don't get their 2, and it's going to be a key defensive stop. So maybe, let's say 38-36, I'm going to go.
There you go.
They don't get the tie.
Who's your MVP?
Joey Aguilar.
All right.
He's going to win the game for us. I know that's an easy thing to pick, but I think he's going to he's going to have to be the champ. He's going to have to be Superman for us to win this one. Yeah.
That's great. Yarrow says 45-31 Vols. Put your I think his MVP is probably going to be Brazil, but put your MVP in the chat for us, and we'll put that up there. Michael, go ahead and give me your 2 keys: offensive key, defensive key. I know we're probably going to bounce off the same ones because, I mean, they're so important. But give me your offensive key, defensive key, prediction, and MVP.
I think this is going to be a little different take. I think the key on offense and defense is penalties. Eliminate the penalties, like on offense, eliminate the holding penalties on good plays, stuff like that, and on defense. I think you talked about it earlier, Coach. Not having stupid penalties when you do get them off the field on 3rd and long or whatever. I think that's going to be key on both sides of the ball.
I'm jealous, man. I want mine back so I can take that because that sounded better.
Yeah. All right. So that's a good one both ways. What's your score prediction and MVP?
My score prediction is Tennessee 41, Oklahoma 34. And my MVP is going to be Mike Matthews.
That away.
There you go.
I think he has a big game tomorrow night.
All right. So that's what Joey put in the chat earlier, which he had to go. But Joey put in the chat, let's see, he put earlier, Hype dials it up for 350 for Joey, and Mike has 2 TDs. So we're y'all on the same boat. So let's see. All right. So you got Tom, you got Joey Aguilar, you got Mike Matthews, you got penalties as a key, you got turnovers as a key. those are, that's so important the way this game's going to play out. I fully believe I could, bounce off of both of you. And I think that's going to be, both will be just as important. I'm going to go 42-34. Almost still Michael's score there. So I'm going to one up you by 1 point. And I think Tennessee's going to make some big plays in key moments. I think they're going to get another defensive touchdown because John Mateer puts the ball in harm's way at times, and his accuracy's not been there. So I think he's going to throw a sail one to one of our safeties, and they're going to take it back to the house, or Colton Hood's going to take it back to the house.
Love it.
And MVP, I'm going to go to Deshaun Bishop because I think they're going to get the run game back going. And I think even though he may not run for a lot of yards, but I think 3 rushing touchdowns tomorrow. So I'm going to go 16 rushes for 75 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I'll take
Deshaun Bishop. So hey, great show. I know it's a little shorter than normal, but priorities call.
Yeah.
But guys, I both of you, I can't thank y'all enough. I know Joey's got a lot going on right now. Y'all just pray for him. I know he's they're doing some stuff for their church and stuff. And he's got some other things going on. And but everything's good, nothing like that. But but y'all follow along with the channel, Facebook, Rock Talk Sports Talk. Y'all get on there. I post on there every time we go live. So follow the page, trying to build that following up. And then get to where we can chat on there, or the other followers can chat on there. I want to get it to there at some point. Twitter, I post mine, Tom's, and Joey's personal account each time I post a video to our Rocky Top Talks 1 page. Please follow that, share that out, retweet. Comment. I love to talk to y'all in the chat. And then Big Mike, I appreciate you coming on the show, brother. You're always welcome. And I
have a quick side note.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Just a real quick side note. As kind of a side note to the MVP conversation, I think our crowd could play a huge role in this game tomorrow night. I think they could cause some problems for Oklahoma on offense. Just had to throw that in there.
That's a great point. That's it's good. I was talking about before both of y'all came on, talking about, and I think I kind of mentioned it when Tom first came on about the seismometer, seismometer, or however you pronounce it, being they're going to use that tomorrow night as trying to ramp the crowd up. And I think that crowd's going to be electric. The atmosphere is going to be beautiful. It's going to be football weather. And I'm getting chills right now, y'all, just thinking about wishing I could be there. But I'm going to have fun with my family and some friends and, watching the game and, enjoying that time. And, guys, we can't take for granted, because you think about 6 years ago, 5 years ago, where we were to where we are now, the moment we're in as a Tennessee Vol fan, and get to enjoy games like this again and have those expectations. Can't say enough for what Coach Heupel's done with it. Even though we have our questions sometimes, and especially with the defensive side of the ball sometimes, but you got to still tip your cap off for what Coach Heupel's done with this program, and gotten them in the spot they're in. So with that being said, hey, as always, represent the Power T. We love you. We appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed night, and go Big Orange.
Go Big Orange.
I'm on God time, what you want, huh? I'm on God time, what you want, huh? I'm on God time, what you want, huh? What you want, huh? I'm on God time, what you want, huh? What you want, huh? I'm on God time, what you want, huh? God time, we don't never